Hello friends, and welcome back. Today we are going to address a very common comment that I see on nearly every single one of my Fields of Mistria shorts that I upload. Fields of Mistria is not Temu Stardew Valley. I personally started playing Fields of Mistria because I saw different people posting about it in different online groups that I'm in for cozy gaming. So I thought I would give it a try. I had only heard good things about it. Myself and many others who have also played Stardew Valley absolutely love Fields of Mistria. Some people even say that it's better. Are they both a pixel art style? Yes. Are they both farming sims? Yes. So let's get into what makes them completely different. I'll be including screenshots from real people who have played Fields of Mistria who commented on a post that I made in one of the groups that I'm in. Nearly every single person who said these things has also played Stardew Valley and multiple other indie games and farming sims. Let's start with the art style. Yes, they are both pixel art farming sims, but many people have stated that they enjoy the aesthetic of Fields of Mistria more, and that it feels quite different than Stardew. The colors in Fields of Mistria are quite a bit more pastel, and it's very evident to see when they are side by side. Many people enjoy the aesthetic of Fields of Mistria and say that the character sprites are also completely different. Here's what some people had to say about the art style of Fields of Mistria. Fields of Mistria has way better looking sprites than Stardew Valley. I don't think they look all that similar at all, to be honest, and I've got over 1,000 hours in Stardew Valley. I think it's funny people always mention the graphics as if Stardew invented pixel graphics. People don't understand that it's how the video game world is. You don't copy all of the bits of the game, of course. However, making pixelated farming sim games is not reserved to Stardew Valley's creator. You get inspired by another person's idea and want to incorporate your own touch. It would be like saying that every book about a popular trope, like enemies to lovers, for example, are a copy of one another. Also, when they comment on the look, they're showing ignorance of the history of video games. There was a time when all games looked like that. It's a retro style, sure, but lots of modern games have used a retro style. It doesn't look like Stardew though? Stardew is slightly goofy and unattractive in its art style to me. It is definitely very different. Fields of Mistria is a better game in every single way in my opinion. The characters of Stardew are straight up cringe. The long hair hipster guy, the typical emo, the typical jock, LMFAO, god. Plenty of games have the same animation and design. I for one am happy to see another 2-bit game out there. Speaking of character sprites, let's talk a little bit more about the characters and the storyline of Fields of Mistria. Many people agree that as you get into Fields of Mistria, the storyline feels completely different than that of Stardew Valley. The dialogue from the NPCs in Fields of Mistria is far more robust than the dialogue from NPCs in Stardew Valley, and you can speak to them numerous times a day. As you donate things to the museum in Fields of Mistria, characters will reference what you've donated. Some people even admitted that they had the same thought, that Fields of Mistria was just another Stardew Valley. But then they started playing Fields of Mistria and they changed their mind. Here's what some people had to say about the gameplay and storyline of Fields of Mistria. When I first started playing Mistria, I had also just started playing Stardew, and I'm not gonna lie, the art, the storyline, and just in general Mistria is way better in my opinion. I know it's still in development, but I'm expecting so much more from this game. I love it because yes, it does remind me of other games I love. Stardew with the farm sim, Animal Crossing with the museum collection, the experience points, and a couple other stuff even remind me of Minecraft. So I just love that Mistria mixes so many other factors that keep me hooked to it. Fields of Mistria has such an original feel to me. It doesn't feel like Stardew at all. I feel like people that say that probably haven't actually played the game. Low-key, I personally think Fields of Mistria is better than Stardew Valley. It lends itself more of the actual fantasy and slice-of-life elements of Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, and Rune Factory. Considering Stardew Valley is literally based off Harvest Moon mixed with Animal Crossing, I really hate people like that. I have over 700 hours in Stardew Valley. I'm a die-hard fan, but I got burnt out in it after years of replaying it over and over due to all the updates and such. I still love the game, just overplayed it. I think Fields of Mistria is so unique compared to many of the other copycats I've played. Dinkum, Roots of Pacha, Graveyard Keeper, etc. Fields of Mistria is definitely on the same level as Stardew Valley. They only compare in small parts. farming, leveling up tools, etc. But the story is a bit more unique and the style is very nostalgic and refreshing. Many people also find that Fields of Mistria and the quality of life gameplay is just easier than Stardew. Also, I like Fields of Mistria better because the inventory management is a lot easier than Stardew Valley, to be honest. It's funny because I don't even think it's like Stardew. To me, it's better. It's not so crazy with so many objects. It doesn't feel overwhelming like Stardew did. And I'm excited how they will further the storyline because they're just getting started. And this is super true. Storage chests in Fields of Mistria are universal. You don't need to keep things in your backpack to use them when crafting or cooking. You can also enter houses and businesses at any time. Do you need seeds at 11 p.m.? You can buy them. Another big difference that's been referenced a few times between the two is the fantasy aspect. You can literally learn magic spells. While Stardew has its own form of magic with the wizard and the witch and being able to speak to the Junimos, the farmer themselves does not perform magic spells the way that you do in Fields of Mistria. In Fields of Mistria, you can make it rain, make fire, heal your farmer, and I'm sure as time goes on, we will learn many, many more spells. Spells rely on your mana, which can take a while to restore, and different spells use different amounts of mana. Can you use Rain Totem and Life Elixir to do similar in Stardew? Yes. But can you make a giant wall of fire? No, you cannot. You can also summon a Mist Mare in Fields of Mistria to ride whenever you want, and even ride your ranching animals. Can you ride a horse in Stardew? Yes. Can you call upon it whenever you want? With the horse flute, pretty much. But it's so far in game and takes such a long time to achieve the horse flute. Your Mist Mare is unlocked pretty early in game for Fields of Mistria, and it's purple. And you can ride a cow, or a llama, or even more. Magic in Fields of Mistria is also what's used to power sprinklers and auto-petters, otherwise known as water sprite statues and animal sprite statues. You craft special essence stones to power them. Not to mention a main driving factor of the game is a giant magical dragon and a dragon priestess. And a royal family. Here's what some people had to say about the fantasy and magic aspects of Fields of Mistria. The magic, ranching is so much better, the storyline, tiered perks, graphically I think it's so much cuter. I personally love both, but Fields of Mistria has much more to offer to players. People will compare they're similar, but to say it's a ripoff of whatever game, bad take on their end, I think. I love both games. I have 700 hours in Stardew and only about 45 in Fields of Mistria, but you can obviously tell it's a different game. So many of the mechanics are different too, like the more magic-heavy systems Fields of Mistria has, and the animal breeding. Side note, I love the Fields of Mistria art style. It reminds me of the old Pokemon games. Speaking of animals, something that you've probably seen a few times from these comments is a massive difference between the two games is breeding and ranching. In Stardew, you can make animals pregnant, but in Fields of Mistria, you can literally breed two of your animals together and then get different colors of each animal as you continue to breed them through family trees. It will tell you if different breeds of animals are common or are rare. There's also different animals available, like capybaras and llamas. I love the capybaras. Here's what some people had to say about breeding in Fields of Mistria. The animal breeding. I normally get so bored with the ranching aspect and farming sims, including Stardew, but I was busting my butt to get all the different color variations for the farm animals in Mistria. Also the museum. I know of course Stardew has a museum for artifacts, but I love that Mistria went more Animal Crossing style, where we can donate fish and bugs and other things too. People need to chill, it's just the same genre game. Fields of Mistria has different things. First, the style of the game, characters, and also the breeding aspect of Fields of Mistria. This is like saying all RPGs are ripoffs of Final Fantasy games, it's just a genre. And last, but not least, the biggest thing that many people had to say when they heard Fields of Mistria is just a Stardew knockoff, you have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley was heavily inspired by Harvest Moon. This is a well-known fact. To say Fields of Mistria is just a ripoff of Stardew is to say Stardew is just a ripoff of Harvest Moon. It'd be like saying every single shooter game is just a ripoff of Call of Duty. Here's many comments of what people had to say about this. And Stardew is a ripoff of Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, etc. Literally, they're pixel games. People are so weird. I hate how people call a lot of cozy games Stardew ripoffs when there are countless cozy games that predated it. Yes, it's highly successful, a phenomenal game, and well known, but it's nowhere near the first. Stardew is just a Harvest Moon Story of Seasons ripoff, and yet each game has some differences, good and bad. Stardew didn't invent farm sims, so yes, farm sims are similar. News at 11. At this point, just answer with Stardew Valley is heavily inspired by Harvest Moon's Story of Seasons, and its creator admits it. That should shut them up and teach them the real classic of the farming game is far older than 2016. The best argument for this, in my opinion, is always, yeah, and Stardew Valley is just a clone of Harvest Moon. Because I'm sorry, but Stardew Valley, while a game I adore, isn't the first pixelated farming sim game to ever exist. There's always going to be people comparing every new farming game with the pixel style of Stardew Valley thanks to its reach. It's no more a ripoff of Stardew than Stardew is of Harvest Moon. Honestly, people say that about any indie farming sim game nowadays, when they forget Stardew Valley was inspired by Harvest Moon. People forget that Stardew isn't the only farming sim, and Stardew is a Harvest Moon ripoff with that logic. Stardew fans have the IQ of a rock sometimes. I love Fields of Mistria, more than Stardew to be honest. I saw someone say that it's like Sailor Moon meets Stardew, but it's not a ripoff. It's annoying that so many people just call every farming sim a ripoff of Stardew, even though, as someone else mentioned, Harvest Moon came first. Games that have a similar premise are ripoffs of other games. Each game is different in its own way. Despite the similarities, you can't have two farming sim games and everything be completely different. There's going to be some overlap because of the type of game. But Mistria and Stardew have different techniques, you get your tools differently, you upgrade differently, etc. Mistria is definitely a different game. And unfortunately, arguing online isn't going to change people's minds. There's not a lot of point in getting involved in arguing online because people are so adamant about their own opinions. No matter how much you try, you can't force them to change what they think. They have to choose to change their minds. If they want to think that way, you just have to let them think what they want. At least we know the truth, that Fields of Mistria is a different game. Fields of Mistria is amazing. Literally every game can be considered a ripoff of some other game at some point. Stardew Valley did not create anything unique but a wonderful story and the ability to actually be gay, which was kind of lacking, I'll give that. Both games are amazing. However, both games exist together. Fields of Mistria is not a ripoff. Some people are either just jackasses, trying to rip a good thing down, or literally don't realize that games have existed since before they were likely born. I, for one, will love both. And seriously, just keep giving me the farming fantasy goodness. Geez, you could also argue that Stardew is a ripoff of the original farming RPG, Harvest Moon. There are multiple farming RPG games, way too many to even list. They all have some similarities, and this particular art style is cute and easy to create, so why not? These are the same goobers that don't know that Stardew and Mistria are both themselves inspired by older and more venerable game series like Harvest Moon and Rune Factory. Frankly, I'd say Stardew is Harvest Moon inspired, but Mistria feels far more Rune Factory to me. By a long shot, and I think that's a good thing for sure. Holy crap, there's room for everyone. So long as they're quality. And even unfinished, Fields of Mistria is quality. I purchased the game before the update in March and I loved it before the update. It has similarities, but I feel it also has its own flair. I've been a fan of Stardew since 6 months after release. If Fields of Mistria keeps going the way it is, I will also purchase it on every platform they put it on. You have to promote the good stuff. And like you've seen some comments say, to add a note about Fields of Mistria, it's still not even out for full release. This is still the early release of the game. So there will be tons of new content and new things added to the game that we haven't even seen yet. So all in all, if you want to sit here and hate on Fields of Mistria, by all means, do it. You'll probably make some friends. Because misery loves company. But if you don't want to be a stick in the mud, I do encourage you to genuinely give Fields of Mistria a try before passing any negative judgment on it. Myself and many others love both Stardew and Mistria. You can love both. It's allowed. It's also okay to be critical of the things that you love. In fact, I encourage it. It's not healthy to blindly believe everything is perfect in terms of something that you enjoy, whether it's a movie, a novel, or in this case, a video game. I love Stardew, but I know there's many improvements that can be made upon it. And I love Fields of Mistria too. You can enjoy both games at the same time and play both games at the same time. Myself and many others do. The fact that we Stardew players play it and are also obsessed with it says a lot. They're different enough to be their own game and are both amazing to log hundreds of hours. I don't think it's like Temu Stardew. I love both. Fields of Mistria has a lot more aesthetic and what I love. And to be honest, it's something fresh and nice for me to play. I love Stardew, but I was getting a little bored of the game. I feel like it's nowhere close to Stardew, and they are just hating on the game. I felt the same way. I thought it was a ripoff till I bought it and played it, and now I'm in love. I love both games. There really are a lot of differences in them. They have their similarities, but it's kind of like a love child of that, Animal Crossing, and some other farming sims from what I've heard. Most creations take inspiration from others anyway. I didn't care for it much at first, but it snuck up on me and suddenly I was playing it more than Stardew. It's pretty good so far. Kinda wish I'd waited longer to buy it so I don't have to wait for more updates. Also, I'm in love with the Mind's music. What are your thoughts on Fields of Mistria? Did they change after you started playing? If you found this video helpful or interesting, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep up with me on all of my social media channels. I'm the Anime Athlete everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, you name it. Join the Discord to ask any questions about Fields of Mistria, Stardew Valley, or other similar games. Get early access to videos and more on my Patreon, and come play cozy games like Stardew and Fields of Mistria with me live on Twitch and also on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your night.